Hello everyone! I'm guessing that if you've clicked on this video, either you are a totally new knitter that wants to try something new to learn, or you're someone who's interested in knitting kits and maybe you've come across this company and you don't know if it's worth it. I know it can be a little bit difficult, tricky to figure out which companies are worth the money when we're spending for a kit that's already made for us. So I'm going to be totally transparent here. This company called Unravelled reached out to me to see if I would do a sponsored post. And I said yes, but I did tell them that I was going to give my full-on honest opinion. So they are aware that I'm gonna say the pros, but also the cons that are related to this knitting kit. Unravelled is a small business located in Australia, and they do knitting kits for the beginners as well as the more advanced knitters. So I looked at their kits a little bit before saying yes to this partnership, and I was really happy to see the quality of the material they seem to be using. I have not seen their patterns or touched the yarn yet, so I'll do that with you. I received this package and I started opening it up. It came in this plastic bag, but then when I saw how it was packaged, I thought it was gonna be so much better to open it up with you. So when I started opening the bag, I could tell that inside they had put a lot of care because it is in a tote bag. They have sent me in this tote bag the essential blanket kit. Got rid of the plastic bag so you wouldn't hear all the crinkling. Comes in a really nice tote bag with their logo on it. That blanket is supposed to be great for beginners, and it is, it comes with everything in the kit. So let me show you. I chose a color story out of the ones that they had available. Mine is called Calm, I believe. But they do change the colorways depending on availability. The yarn is called Uno by Unravelled. It is a 60% alpaca, 30% merino, 10% polyamide. Am I saying this correctly? It's the second video I have to say polyamide and I'm all confused. And it's made in Peru. So it is a hand wash only, which I'm very glad because it's mostly animal fiber, and it is supposed to be knitted on US 6 to 8 or 4 to 5 millimeter needle at 20 stitches and 26 rows per 10 centimeters. It is a chainette yarn, so if you look at how it is made, you can tell that it's not even a chainette yarn because it's an actual I-cord yarn. You can see all the individual stitches, so it's basically, I would say that it's a 3-stitch I-cord. So I got, let's see how much. These are 50-gram balls that have, obviously I took the ball as the most difficult to read, that have 125 meters per ball. This is the colorway T282. So, you know, it's a beige. I have 4 of this one. Okay, it's all gonna fall to the floor, but it's fine. And then I have 4 of the cream color and 4 of the, you can't tell from here, but it's very, eggplant, a little bit darker than eggplant, but it's not brown. It has a purple tint to it, and that's what I could tell from the website. So the colorway are quite cute. I wanted something that could go in any of the rooms in my house. Now I'm gonna have to figure out where to put them because there's more in that bag. Okay, on the floor it goes. It is really, really soft. You know, it's mostly alpaca, so alpaca and merino are super soft, and I'm curious to start knitting with this yarn to see if it's gonna split, if it's gonna be easy for a beginner, in my own opinion. Obviously, I'm not a beginner, so I'm not gonna be learning to knit with this kit, but I can tell you what I feel as someone who's taught a lot of beginners. So in there, I also have this beautiful, like very stiff cardboard envelope. It feels very luxurious, I must say. So for the price this kit is at, it feels like I'm getting my money's worth. So it is an expensive kit, but when you want to knit something really nice for yourself, sometimes you gotta pay what it's worth. So I got one thing that I love is really nice knitting needle. So this is a Chiaogu bamboo. My favorite needles are Chiaogu metal, but for a beginner, sometimes bamboo needles are better because they are less slippery. So I'm excited to try, and the alpaca is generally slippery, so alpaca plus metal would be a little bit difficult. So these are the Chiaogu, and they are a size 5.5 millimeter and 32 inches. Then I have obviously a pattern printed on pretty thick paper, and I'm not going to show you the pattern because obviously that is their own pattern, and there's a QR code to scan to watch, I believe, some tutorials, which I'm going to do. And what else? We have, oh, so nice, darning needle, which is absolutely necessary to finish a a first project. We have a little leather tag that says handmade with love, and we have 2 stitch markers, which I believe are recommended to use with that pattern because I believe it has a border. So you put the stitch marker for the border. That's what I anyway think it's for. And then we have this very cute little thing for to know where our wool comes from. This is a Peruvian alpaca, and it explains a little bit how they produce the fibers in Peru. And we have just a little thank you card from the founder of Unravelled. And I'm gonna read to you what it says because I think it's good. It's a nice little thought. You've just cast on to something wonderful. This kit isn't just yarn and needles, it's an invitation to slow down, create, and join a community of like-minded crafters. We're thrilled to have you on this journey of stitches and self-discovery. Cheryl, Unravelled founder. So this is obviously extra, and I'm a little bit generally wary of having too much stuff in a kit that I'm gonna end up throwing away. But since this is, you know, cardboard, I can obviously put it in this recycling. That's what's in the kit. So I can also reuse this this thing because it has a sticky tab here. The sticky tab was not stuck, so I can decide to reuse this for something else. I appreciate that. The bag itself has a zippered pocket on the inside, so it is legitimately a project bag that you can bring with you. So you're gonna put your yarn in there, your pattern, and you can then put your stitch markers and other little things in the pocket here. I've got my needles. I'm gonna be ready to cast on. So what I'm gonna do is start reading the pattern. I might tune in onto a tutorial on the website to see what it looks like, and I'll bring you along with me, and I'll let you know my first impressions afterwards. Before I get completely blown out by the light, I want to talk about the pricing a little bit. So this kit, the Essential Blanket, comes in 2 sizes. The baby size, which is supposed to make an 85 by 105 centimeter blanket, or a throw blanket, which is 100 centimeter by 140 centimeters. For the baby blanket, you get 9 skeins of yarn plus the needles and all the little extra things, and it retails at $370. And for the throw, you get 12 skeins and it retails at $385. So it is not cheap, but the quality is there for now anyway. So let me cast on and tell you how I feel about the pattern, the tutorials, and the overall experience. at least a week or two, and I've knitted a bit on my blanket. Obviously, I was not gonna finish this blanket before talking to you again because I have a lot of projects going on, so finishing a blanket is quite a labor of love. You have to spend dedicated time to do it. So, but I felt like having done this much, which is almost 2 balls of the 12 balls I have, gave me a good idea of how I like to work with the yarn, with the needles, what I liked about the pattern itself. So here are my final thoughts. Firstly, the question is the kit worth the money? And I would say absolutely, 100%. You're getting very good quality yarn. This is soft, it is squishy, it is easy to knit with. I was quite surprised. Even though this is a knitted yarn, I didn't feel like the needles were snagging on it very much because the tip of those needles is a little bit blunt, which I appreciate. I appreciate the choice of needle, which Chiaogu is a, well-known company for a reason. They make great needles, and the choice of wood is perfect for a beginner. The pattern itself is very simple. I don't understand why in the pattern it's written as 2 rows, since it's just basically 1 row that you keep repeating, but it makes people have to learn about right side versus wrong side. And I do feel like most of the basic things that you need to know are mentioned in the pattern. So I was happy that they talked about blocking, talked about changing color. The one thing that I wish maybe the pattern had was also tips on what happens when you make a simple mistake, because that's one thing for beginners that will happen. But apart from that, it is a very nice experience. Would I start knitting like as a beginner with a blanket? Maybe not, because it's quite long, but at the same time, if you're picking up knitting to relax, unwind, and have a slow project, that blanket will absolutely be that. I calculated that it takes me 2 minutes and 45 seconds approximately to knit 1 row, which means that the blanket altogether should take me about 13 hours to knit, and I knit quite fast. So obviously for a beginner, you can expect to take a lot more hours to knit this blanket, but then you'll have a very high quality product at the end of it that you can keep forever because it is very beautiful quality yarn. Would I purchase a kit from the company? Me personally, I'm not that much into kits because I like to choose my yarn for my projects, but would I recommend the kits for people that do not have much experience with knitting projects and don't know how to choose the right yarn for the right pattern, and or they don't want to have to think about it, they just want to buy this all-in-one thing? Absolutely, I would recommend that store. I did receive emails that sent me to a group where I can ask questions. So all in all, it's been a very pleasant experience. And if you are interested in Unravelled.store and their projects, go for it. There's a link down below if you're interested in the kit. And yes, it does give me a little bit of kickback if you buy through my link. So I thank you very much if you do so. And if you like this kind of review, tell me. I'll keep reviewing kits if that's something that interests you. Happy knitting. I'll see you later. Bye.